Alrighty guys, we're back for Gruul Hydras, and this is a Dragonstorm Standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some Ranked. But first things first, this was a patron suggestion, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. Where's the Hydras at? How about a new one? Warden of the Grove is a 3-mana 2/2 Hydra. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Whenever another non-token creature you control enters, it endures X, where X is the number of counters on this creature. So to endure, you put X +1/+1 counters on this creature or create an XX white spirit creature token. That's pretty cool. Interested to see how much this is actually going to do today. Other Hydras packed in, we have all 4 Mossborn Hydras. It's a 3-mana 0/0, but it enters with a +1/+1 counter on it. Does have Trample, which of course comes in handy, and Landfall. So whenever a land you control enters, double the number of +1/+1 counters on this creature, which could get out of hand pretty fast, huh? We have all 4 Goldvein Hydras. It's an X and a green 0/0, Vigilance, Trample, Haste, beautiful, enters with X +1/+1 counters on it. Also, when it dies, create a number of tapped treasure tokens equal to its power. This is one that I'm kind of surprised we never get to see, right? Because wow, that's a lot of power packed onto a card. Got a couple Shivan Devastators as well. It's an X and a red 0/0. Enters with X +1/+1 counters on it, of course. And then it also has Flying and Haste. Ought to do the thing nicely. Also, it's a Dragon Hydra, and the dragon might actually come in handy because we have other dragons packed in that care about dragons. So Bloomvine Regent here on the top end is a 5-mana 4/5 flying dragon. Too bad it's not also a Hydra because boy, that would really fit the theme. Anyways, whatever. This creature or another dragon you control enters, you gain 3 life. Cool. But it also has an omen here. So you can cast this card as an omen. After you do, shuffle this card into its owner's library. So not quite adventures, right? But this one's claim territory for 2 and a green. Search your library for up to 2 basic forest cards. Reveal them, put one onto the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand. Then shuffle. Okay, yeah, that's good enough to do some rearranging. Consider that a 3-drop until it comes time to play it as a 5-mana dragon, huh? Also here on the top end, we got a couple Agonasaur Rex with that cycling ability, protecting our creatures, giving them indestructible, trample, extra +1/+1 counters. Oh, that sounds terrific. Also, it's not going to be unheard of at all to ramp into 5 mana pretty darn fast in here, especially when we have early ramp like Herd Heirloom as well. It's just a 2-mana artifact. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any color, spend this mana only to cast a creature spell. So what's cool about this, of course, is artifacts is much harder to remove than creatures. So that's nice. At least we can play this and maybe it survives, right? Now it also has a bottom ability being the main card draw of this build as well. You can tap this until end of turn. Target creature you control with power 4 or greater gains trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. That's pretty neat, man, and hopefully it's all too easy to get our Hydras above that power of 4 so we can start drawing off this heirloom. All right, fitting the whole landfall theme with Mossborn Hydra, we also have a couple Bristly builds with that landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That could, of course, really come in handy, but this bottom ability should also really come in handy with all these Hydras entering with all these extra counters. For 3 and double green, double the number of +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Oh my goodness. Why not more Bristly Bills if I think that bottom ability is going to be so good? Just has a huge target on his back, man. And if we have 3, what if we only see Bristly Bills or something? You know what I mean? Okay, guys, what else do we got packed in? More things fitting that landfall theme. Worldsoul's Rage could be pretty good. It's X and Gruul colors, sorcery speed. Deals X damage to any target. Put up to X land cards from your hand and or graveyard onto the battlefield tapped. Also, this could be a great way to wrap up a game. If you ramped far enough, X could be a pretty good chunk of damage. Encroaching Dragonstorm is a 4-mana enchantment. When it enters, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. And also, whenever a dragon you control enters, return this enchantment to its owner's hand. That's pretty cool. Interested to see how much this is going to do today as well. Bitter Reunion can give haste to our Hydras that don't already have haste, right? So that could be pretty good. Or even just giving haste to something like Agonasaur Rex could be pretty darn good. But also, filtering out your hand is pretty important. You could potentially filter out some lands and then maybe bring them back from your grave with a Worldsoul's Rage later on. I think Bitter Reunion is going to be pretty decent in here. Speaking of putting land into the grave, it's not going to be unheard of to maybe surveil some extra lands into the grave with Commercial District, or Fabled Passage also just sending itself to the grave too. Cavern of Souls over here in the mana base, calling Hydra, and then sometimes you might actually call dragons too. I guess it really depends. Some removal, we got a couple Torch the Towers, okay, and we have a couple Bushwhacks as well, maybe grabbing us more land if we're not using it as removal. Some honorable mentions, Snakeskin Veil probably would be pretty good in here, right? Piercing Exhale was some new removal that I thought about. A doubling season, but I do think it's going to be pretty hard to pull off, unfortunately. Overlord of the Hauntwoods would make a lot of sense in here. Restless Ridgeline and Thornspire Verge almost made the cut, but I wanted as many basics packed in as possible, so... Okay, guys, I think that's everything. I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, see how we do. We got right into that first game. What am I expecting from the build? Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's probably a little janky, but if we ramp really well, I think these Hydras are going to get out of hand for real. So I think we can have some awesome explosive victories. We go first. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Keeping this. Except, okay. Yeah. Yeah, we'll go turn one mountain to make sure we have both colors for everything, right? But also Herd Heirloom taps for 1 mana of any color too, so. But yeah, no, we'll still grab mountain for sure. All right. And then right into the Heirloom or Bristly Bill, huh? Now, even though we have landfall, we still only have 24 mana in here, but that shouldn't be an issue at all. Yeah, I'm gonna go Heirloom over the Bristly Bill. Maybe if I had some land in hand, I'd consider it the Bristly Bill, but also Golgari colors so far. Okay, up the Beanstalk with Salt High colors. Oh dear. Okay, not seeing the 3rd mana. I'm not too worried about it. Let's get the Heirloom down and Bristly Bill, which is actually really sick because if this was mana, then we'd be able to utilize that landfall on the same turn as getting the Herd Heirloom established, which is really neat, right? We shouldn't have any issues here. I mean, mana off the top would be, I mean, we'd already have 5 on the board for an Agonasaur Rex or something, which is pretty crazy. Okay, up the Beanstalk number 2. I have a feeling the opponent is going to keep their hand nice and stocked up here. Okay, it's not the 3rd, so we still don't have the Omen on the Bloomvine Regent, unfortunately. We do have Goldvein Hydra for X's 3, though, which is not terrible at all. Or we could do X's 2, keep Torch the Tower open. That's probably not worthwhile. So being the first game, we can't really consider like going up to 25 just based on one game. However, I know it's very tempting to consider the 25 based on not seeing the 3rd for this long. 11 cards in. We're overdue. I think that land is chilling on top. It's a Mossborn Hydra. Hey, we can play that, though. That's good, but we do have to worry about... we do have to worry about the board wipe coming next turn. Right? Untapped Source Sunfall would be brutal. We probably still play it, though. We start with the swing, see what the opponent does to our creatures. Okay. The opponent's down to 10. I mean, we're taking our time. They're taking their time. So we go for it, right? It's probably Sunfall, though. No, I'll play around it. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine because untap source. Sunfall. Okay, okay. So I'm happy I played around it, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way, and the opponent takes that extra turn. So the exile means no extra treasure on the Goldvein Hydra, unfortunately, even though that really would have come in handy. There's the mana. All right, now we're talking. What do I want to do here, though? We could go... I mean, it's too bad Bristly Bill's gone now, because, wow, we really could have started popping off with all those extra counters. So, instead of Bloomvine Regent, I'm just going to go... We're going to get the Mossborn Hydra established and double it one time here. And I think that's okay. So Bloomvine Regent could have ramped us a little bit. I mean, the opponent's already on 6 mana, so I don't know. I don't know what's coming for us, man, but they still have 3 mana open. So a couple for Incubator if they need that, right? Or at this point now that everywhere's on the board, they do have a 1 mana Leyline too. So we're in danger, but we might still be able to get there. There's ways to give haste to our big chunky creatures. Bitter Reunion wouldn't be terrible. At that point, we'd send the Torch the Tower for sure. Okay, Bushwhack. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's something. We can start with Bushwhack. I'll grab a green. I'll grab a forest. Well, I guess we grab a mountain because the Bloomvine Regent's going to grab us more forests. Yeah, that makes sense. And then at that point, we play it. Double the Hydra. I'm pretty sure Hydra's going to get removed, but I guess we could also just play it as a creature. Nah, I'd rather double the Hydra again. Claim territory, and then we have another Regent to play as a creature instead when it comes time. The opponent is rocking blue over there, so I guess counter spells could happen. Okay, and then we have another forest to play next turn too. Yeah, dude, now we're talking, huh? And we're going to try to draw on the Hydra. They drop nice. Thank you, opponent. Thank you. I still feel like they have some removal for the Hydra, but I appreciate the nice. Even if they didn't have removal, if we were... Okay, they draw 2 times and up the Beanstalk. It's a Ride's End. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Well, it feels like we're out. I'm still not convinced. I still think, oh, crap, dude, they're going to gain so much life. Oh, no. Oh, no. Not the Overlords. All right, actually, they don't have enough mana now to power up the Overlord of the Hauntwoods. So I guess they're not gaining life this turn. At that point, we could still find Bitter Reunion off the top. Have enough mana to play Agonasaur Rex, but they're still at 10 is the problem, right? Analyze the pollen. They grab Zur. Oh, Mossborn Hydra. Wow. Dude, I'm down. Right. So, Torch the Tower doesn't hit Zur, but it does hit a 2-1. I think I think the opponent is going to be able to push damage through in the next few turns. Yeah, we'll use 1 heirloom. I like that auto tap. I think that works, right? So we'll get Hydra down. We'll double it. And well, it would make more sense as a creature here with flying, right? But I don't know. I mean, if we're already down and out, 1, 2, 3. So would the Agonasaur Rex, though, at that point. Or Agonasaur Rex being kept open as protection for the Hydra. Maybe. That could also work, but they're about to gain so much life anyways. Yeah. Yeah, what the heck, man. Let's go claim territory, and we'll keep the... This also thins the deck list pretty well, getting us 1 step closer to a potential Bitter Reunion, I suppose, right? And the Herd Heirloom, we could just tap for the bottom ability there. But the Hydra wasn't swinging anyways, so... So next turn, we'll have Mossborn Hydra at an 8/8. But there's a lot of cards in here that could potentially put extra lands onto the board too. So if the opponent for some reason taps out and doesn't value the Hydra, it is too bad that by doing all that, we just don't have enough mana for the cycling on the Agonasaur Rex. Because if we were able to keep that cycling open... Okay, they're powering up Overlord of the Mistmoors. Oh, buddy. Yeah, going back up to 17 here. I don't know what we could see, but we'd have to double this Hydra a lot. And guys, I'll tell you what. I think we had a really good chance if we didn't miss mana for all those turns. What do you guys think? I think the Hydras really showcased something here. Hey, maybe the opponent will deck themselves out with their Up the Beanstalks, huh? That could happen. They got 31 cards remaining. They've officially drawn. Oh, they're drawing 2 more now, too. They got 29 cards remaining, guys. We're almost there. We're almost there. They've drawn 13 more cards than us. Okay, there goes the Mossborn Hydra. Like I said, keeping that protection open with Agonasaur Rex could have been pretty good, actually. Maybe we should have done that instead of going for the deck thinning and everything. We might as well use the Torch the Tower, because we're pretty much out of this. And I'm going to let the opponent finish this off, guys. This is a great time to mention that down at the bottom of the video, if you mouse over or whatever, you can see the chapters. Always feel free to skip ahead to the next games or wherever you want to skip ahead in the video. Then also down in the description, there's timestamps too. Ooh, Goldvein Hydra. That's pretty fun. X is 9. Did I count right? I did. That's pretty fun, man. What we could have done too, we could have done X is 8 and then go Herd Heirloom. I have a feeling they had another ley line open, but they're letting me have my fun with my Hydra. It was sticking on the 1 everywhere. That's pretty funny, man. Thank you, opponent, because I have a feeling it was another ley line binding. That's pretty cool. This is one reason too why I like to play out the games, because the Goldvein Hydra was a pretty fun draw. Anyways, we could have done X is 8 and then use the bottom ability on the Herd Heirloom to draw again, or like X is 7 or something too, based on what they had over there, to do both of the heirlooms for some extra draw. All right, let's block the ley line. Yeah, good game. I don't think I dropped him the GGs yet. Overlord's is going to be a tough match no matter what. Some real key things there. Number 1, I'm so glad I played around the first Sunfall, because it gave our Mossborn Hydra a chance. You know what I mean? Another noteworthy thing, I guess I could have mulliganed to try to find like a 3 mana hand, but when you have the Herd Heirloom and everything, 24 mana packed in, it like the first, what, 5 turns or so felt like it was a 20 land deck list. I don't think that's going to happen very often. I think that's just magic sometimes. Ooh, I like all these Hydras, but the opponent goes first. We're up against mice without any early removal. There's not a lot of early removal packed into this deck list though, so I don't know how greedy I should get with it. I know one thing. I like seeing 4 mana here. We're keeping it. Call Hydra on the Cavern of Souls and really confuse the opponent. Opponent! No! Opponent, why? Oh no. Okay, let's get the Surveil on the commercial district. Send the extra mana. I'm concerned. Oh no, guys, send help. Might have to go like 2 mana Hydra for a block. Gives us unnecessary ramp since we're gonna have 3 for the Mossborn on time. Monstrous Rage, Heartfire Hero gets a nice chunk of boost. Still has a mountain open, it's a Hired Claw. Okay, Bloomvine Regent is not terrible, but yeah, we're kinda... Alright, let's call Hydra on the Cavern. because that's really cool. And we'll have the Goldvein Hydra as a blocker. We can't even swing into the Hired Claw, unfortunately. Because this does have Vigilance, sometimes you'll want to utilize that Vigilance. But we don't want to lose the Hydra this turn. We want to try to chump something. Oh, not a lot of great chumps over there, though, huh? We could chump the Hired Claw. It's the same concept as chumping the Heartfire Hero at this point, too. We're just taking one less damage. So I'll chump the big old chunk of mouse there. Down to 8, get a treasure token. I do not mind that ramp at all. Torch the tower is beautiful here, because we can exile the Heartfire Hero, but now Screaming Nemesis is a whole other ballgame. At that point, too, so we'll only have 2 mana when we go Torch the Tower on the hero. I mean, that's kind of our only play, right? And we have to do it before we pass it back, because they could boost it above the 3 easily. Herd Heirloom is not what we're looking for. Not 100% certain what we're looking for. I think there's a real chance that we just die here, right? 2 cards remaining in hand. Lightning Strike could do it. Monstrous Rage could do it. Looks like a Monstrous Rage, right? It is a Monstrous Rage. Oh no! Opponent, why? I only got 3 turns, opponent. Alright, hey, same thing as the Overlords, man. That's gonna happen often. So when we try to bring something different like Hydras to the table, it's all something to consider. So more early removal could really help out, right? Like if we have 2 Torch the Towers, and in that game I was like deciding to keep or mulligan, I said no early removal and the opponent goes first. That's an uh-oh. So we could have mulliganed, but only 2 Torch the Towers means it's still pretty unlikely that we'll find it in that opening hand. Well, I don't want to say unlikely, but you guys know what I mean, right? So when we get to the final thoughts, we could consider more Torch the Towers based on what we end up seeing today. Because remember, the Torch the Tower wasn't doing a whole lot against the Overlords, but so when it's like a back and forth meta swing like that, it's really hard to decide what to pack into the build and what not to. Which is why I always like to say, more testing required. I'm going to keep this. Slow lands, but we cannot complain about this hand, especially when I really want to see Warden of the Grove do something today too. Commercial District, of course, can find us a untapped source off the top so we can get Bristly Bill down right on time for a couple Fabled Passages. That actually sounds really good, especially when the second Fabled Passage will potentially hit while Warden of the Grove is on the board too, with the Bristly Bill. Come on, untap source. It is not. It's another Warden, though. I'm going to keep it. I want to see these Wardens do something today, and I have a bad feeling the first one's going to die, so it's not like the best thing to keep on top, but sometimes when you're testing, you just have to. Yeah, Warden of the Grove, the longer it sticks around on the board, the more deadly this endurability gets, and then with Bristly Bill in hand too, I feel like that could really just combo off. Alright, Fabled Passage is definitely going to grab a green source. Yeah, we could have sent the Warden to try to find the untapped land underneath it, but yeah, we'll see, we'll see. Simic colors with the Llanowar Elves. Ooh, more Simic colors. See there, 3 mana card potentially. Happen to Llanowar Elves. Oh, Wildling. Oh. Simic Ramp. Oh, Teamer. Herd Heirloom. Oh dear. Let's see if that Herd Heirloom taps for a Llanowar Elves. It is going to be a Llanowar Elves. Oh crap, bro. I have a bad feeling they're going to ramp into a big old chunky creature next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They'll play their mountain. That's 6 mana already, guys. Right, so we could get Bristly Bill down, then play a land. Or we just play the untapped source, get the Warden down, try Bristly Bill next turn with the Fabled Passage. I think that makes a lot of sense. So I think that's what I'm going to go for here. Warden goes up to a 3/3 at the end. Now when Bristly Bill comes down, Bristly Bill endures. Warden doesn't get picked up by Torch the Tower now when they play their mountain. But I think it's going to be a big old chunky creature. That's what I think. So we'll see. 4 cards in hand. Even like even an Overlord could come down and still have a mountain open, which would be probably at that point Torch the Tower. That's usually the removal we see most often when there's a red source available. Oh, Magmatic Hellkite. Well, now I wish it was Bristly Bill, but they're locking down this land for the turn, which is definitely a problem. I do apologize, says the opponent. Do I have the what in Tarnation? No, I don't. I got rid of it. Oh, no. Okay, so Bristly Bill, Fabled Passage, stick to the plan, right? Stick to the plan. I think so. At that point... Okay, yeah. This is fine. This is okay. So I think I want counters over the extra spirit. And then we don't need the open green source. I don't mind deck thinning here. Do we spread this wide? They drop a nice. Thank you, opponent. We're getting some nices from the opponents today. It's always nice, right? I'll grab a mountain. Totally fine. And let's go with... yeah, spreading it wide. Let's get the Bristly Bill also above the Torch the Tower range. I think that's totally fine. Warden goes up to a 5/5/2, which is awesome. Now, we could have gotten it up to a 5/5 that turn and maybe swung, which could have mattered. But I do like getting the Bristly Bill a little bit higher there. When it drops their own Fable. This is cool, man. I really like seeing Warden of the Grove do the thing. Okay, Heirloom with the Hellkite. That's scary business, man. They're going to draw 2 this turn. Completely restocking their hand. Kind of on the edge of my seat a little bit because we have a really good setup right now on our board with these 2 creatures. But the opponent also has a really good setup, and flying in with that Magmatic Hellkite and the Heirlooms every single turn, restocking their hand for 2. I don't know if we're going to get around that. Still, though. Terror of the Peaks. Dude, the opponent's deck list is awesome. You know what? Nice deck. Heck yeah. All right, we have Mossborn Hydra as the draw. That seems pretty good. That seems pretty good, man. Now, it's too bad Bitter Reunion wasn't already established because giving it haste would have been pretty good too. But I want to make sure that we give it counters. And then we want to make sure Bristly Bill goes on top of the stack, right? Extra counter, then double. That's pretty sick. I think we're gonna die next turn, but that's pretty sick, dude. Now we'll go Bitter Reunion, I guess. I guess we'll use this up, and I guess we'll send the other Warden that I picked up earlier. Oh, wow, Fable. Maybe we should have started with the Bitter Reunion. No, then I would have had to play Fable before the Hydra anyways. I don't think they'll trade. I think we can get 5 through. That's a really good trade for us because it might give us an extra turn to try to win with the Hydra. So yeah, we do cheese the 5 through. Then Warden goes up to a 6/6. Dude, we totally showcased the thing here. We totally showcased it. But I think we're going to die this turn because they have 9 in the air, and then Terror of the Peaks will probably wrap this up. They go to face. Yep. Yeah, second Terror too. Wow, I'm surprised they didn't play that first. A good game, opponent. This was a fun one, huh? So, Teamer Battle Crier. I was gonna say it's Teamer Dragons. I'll block the elves. I'll block those Llanowar elves gladly. I was gonna say it's Teamer Dragons. It probably is, right? Because they have Sarkhan over here too, but they also have the Battle Crier in here, which let me see what that does real quick. Oh heck yeah, I had fun still. View the battlefield though. Battle Crier. During your turn, spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Yeah. Yeah, Sarkhan, Heirloom, playing a whole bunch of new cards. Looks really cool, man. And Terror of the Peaks. Yeah, heck yeah, dude. That was an awesome one. That could have gone either way easily, right? I think the opponent tapping down that land for a turn, we gotta keep an eye out for that magmatic Hellkite for real. Oh, guys, while I have you here towards the end of the video, make sure you check out that description. We do have that Discord link as well as that Patreon link too, if you're interested in joining either of those up or supporting the channel that way. And then also, guys, for the YouTube side of things, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing as well, because it really does help out the channel. So thank you. All right, guys, last game of the video. I think we can get there. I totally think we can get there. I like the hand. We go first. We don't got to worry too much about the opponent dropping a mouse when we go first, right? I think this is fine. It's just it's a little slow, but it's hard to mulligan when we have what we need for now. And it doesn't have to be slow because Goldvein Hydra could still be a turn 2, which I don't mind. Hey, Bristly Bill. Howdy. I like that. We're going for it. Also, our turn 2 could have looked like Fabled Passage, but so that way we have our turn 3 for the Warden. But Bristly Bill, I mean, that's the play, right? We get that down and established. With Boros colors, Ossification picks up the Bristly Bill easy peasy. It's not going to be mana, unfortunately. I'll grab a red source on the Fable, so that way we can grab a couple forests on the Bloomvine next turn. And I think I am going to go Goldvein Hydra for 1. Hopefully it doesn't also get exiled. We're looking for just normal removal from the opponent, so that way we can get that treasure ramp. I hope that's fine, because we didn't have to play anything for the turn. Okay. Valley Quest Caller, huh? Okay. I don't know what we're up against yet. Heartfire Hero. Oh no, guys. Oh no. All right. I actually might grab a green source and consider Bloomvine Regent a creature this game, because I think it's all too easy to find another mana. Go Encroaching Dragonstorm, ramp into the Regent, get that life gain going. All right. I talked myself into that. We're going to keep the Regent as a creature. Hopefully we just find a 4th mana and do some ramp properly. If we missed the 4th mana, we still have Warden of the Grove, which should be fine. Oh, torch the tower. Oh, crap, dude. We got to do it now, don't we? We should. We really should. Crap. These are tapped treasure tokens, too. This is a tough decision because, well, I suppose there's an option. No, I want to keep Hydra as a blocker, I suppose. I apologize, opponent. I'm thinking, buddy. The Torch the Tower really threw a wrench in my plan. Bloomvine Regent brings them out tapped, too. Plus, they're just forests. And honestly, Warden of the Grove would not be terrible here, either. No, we we should take the time to do this, but our hand is really awkward for doing this, right? Because now we have nothing else except for blocking with the Hydra. A 4th mana would be awesome, but we do have a lot of... I was going to say we have a lot of tapped land, but at this point in the game, Fable would also work off the top as an untapped source. So never mind. We don't have that many tapped lands to see here. Dude, Boros Mice with Quest Caller, huh? I'm scared. Gladly block, and we'll try the chump on the challenger, but I don't know. Chumping versus mice is pretty hard. All right, we got the chump. We might be okay, guys. Now we're ramping into the Dragonstorm, even if we miss. It's a commercial district. There's one of the tapped lands I was worried about, huh? We don't want to surveil before Dragonstorm, and I'm going to go for the ramp right now. At this point in the game, we could be in a lot of danger. Could the opponent really find 18 damage next turn? Yeah, I guess so. I guess it depends what kind of Boros we're up against, but there's no way we don't do this, right? We do it before the surveil. I'll grab a mountain and a forest gladly. One of each. Now we surveil. See what's on top. It's a forest. Based on our hand, not necessary, I would say, right? I'm going to send it, and maybe we'll bring it back with a Worldsoul's Rage at some point, too. There's actually 2 lands to pick up with the Worldsoul's Rage if we want to do, like, X's 2, but we'd do X's 3 first of all to try to pick up a Challenger or a Quest Caller. Raging Battle Mouse doesn't have haste yet. All right, they could easily give it haste. I'm on the edge of my seat, opponent. This could all be a problem. Sheltered by Ghost, gonna pick up the Dragonstorm, actually. Aw. I was excited to bounce that back when we played the Bloomvine Regent. Swinging for 8. It's not too bad, but they are gaining a good chunk of life here. More mana off the top, too. Oh, dear. Oh, dear, guys. So, unfortunately, with the Ward 2 on this, if we pay the extra 2, we only have X's 2 on the Worldsoul's Rage, which does not hit the 3 on the Challenger, which would be the great target here because the Sheltered by Ghost would go away. Encroaching Dragonstorm would give us a couple more land as well. At this point, we just try to establish a pretty good blocker, gain 3, and see where the game takes us, right? Yeah. Yeah, dude, I can't believe how much in danger we've been in each of these matches. But a little bit of life gain goes a long way, so you never know. We might be okay, guys. We might be fine. We might have a great block on Challenger, for example, or we might hold back the Raging Battle Mouse and the Quest Caller for the turn. Oh, just a straight up get lost. Oh no, I actually really like the opponent's Boros list here because it's not the traditional Boros Mice that we constantly see. It's much more deadly versus us right now. So, since we're at 3, is there a way? I mean, the Challenger doesn't have trample, so if they don't have a boost for the Quest Caller, double Wardens might be okay. And we might even be able to have one of the Wardens not die if we see something with the map token here, right? I think so. It's a Warden. I should have done map token first because then the other Warden could have actually... Oh, guys, that actually could be a deadly mistake. Map token first because then the other Warden could have come in with the Endure. Oh, it didn't matter because they had another Challenger to swing. Well, no, because we could have endured a Spirit. So that was a deadly mistake, wasn't it? The spirit could have chumped the Raging Battle Mouse, and then the quest caller. Let's see what that last card in hand is and see if this actually did come down to me. Crap, they're not going to play the last card. Oh no, we'll never know now. We'll never know. That's very important, guys. Seriously. Because one more turn really could have mattered, especially since we were getting the Encroaching Dragonstorm back that turn too. More deck thinning. The Warden of the Grove that was on top would have been shuffled back in. But that extra deck thinning, I don't know, man. There was a chance that we could have had one more turn, but we don't know what that last card in the opponent's hand was either. So, yeah, note to self, right? Get the counters on the Wardens before playing your other creatures, of course, right? That's obvious now, but Gruul Hydras. Oh, buddy, we struggled today, huh? But wow, this was cool. This is one where I'm actually disappointed that we didn't get any victories, right? Usually I don't care too much. Because, well, usually we get like some victories mixed in there, right? But we had 100% loss rate today. But this is so freaking cool that's why I'm disappointed. You know what I mean? It's so neat. It's so awesome, but the meta picked it apart, unfortunately. So what do we have to say about it? Huh. A Bloomvine Regent was pretty slow today. I was expecting the ramp to be pretty significant, and I think generally speaking, when we have the extra landfall and everything, getting the land in hand, getting the land on the battlefield on the same turn, all the extra forest and everything is terrific. I think usually it's going to be pretty darn good. That's another thing too. The deck list drew pretty poorly, and that could be how we put the deck list together. That also could just be Magic the Gathering. Maybe we got a little unlucky. Very possible, right? Everything was like doing the thing well, but everyone else's deck list was just doing it a little bit better. I'm confused. I think this one definitely deserves a revisit at some point. But if we revisit it, what kind of themes do we want to stick to? Maybe more protection for our creatures. I wouldn't mind a couple more Agonasaur Rex, but we saw in that one game where the cycling was too expensive as far as protection goes. In the honorable mentions, we had Snakeskin Veil. I do think that would actually be pretty good, but what on earth do we drop for it? Like you could look at like Bitter Reunion didn't really do anything for us today, but how many of those games would an established Bitter Reunion have actually done something for us if we had the option to give big old chunky creatures haste? So it'd feel really weird dropping the Bitter Reunion at some point. I think it might be a cool revisit at mono green maybe, right? If we do end up dropping like all the red cards or something. Worldsoul's Rage also didn't really do the thing today for us either, but it's another thing. When we get late enough into the game, I do think that I think that Worldsoul's Rage is actually going to be pretty good. So this one confused me, man. Yeah, this is one, if we played another 4 games or however many games we played, we could win all of them, right? Totally. Probably not. It's probably like, we definitely have to lean it towards jank, especially based on how picked apart we actually got. But I think more testing required, dude. I don't think it's 100% loss rate worthy jank. I think this is 49% win rate jank, right? So does that make sense? Yeah, dude, I wish I could have pulled off a victory for you guys today because it's just so neat. Guys, let me know in the comments. Do you agree with me? This is just like such a neat deck list that it's just such a shame we couldn't get at least one victory somewhere. And in that last game, it could have easily been my fault. The opponent probably had something else in hand because a Boros Mice usually does have another thing that boosts. But still, it could have easily been my fault by not going map token onto the Warden before playing the other Warden, because then we could have generated that Spirit as an extra chump blocker. And at that point, the opponent didn't have any trample as far as we knew of. So, Herd Heirloom. Yeah, dude. Yeah, if we would have won any of the games today, it would have been against that Teamer deck list. And that Teamer deck list really popped off. I loved that they drew so much with their Herd Heirlooms, double Llanowar Elves. We went mono green as a revisit for Hydras, then I would consider 4 Llanowar Elves, as that helps us get like turn 2 Omen on the claimed territory, which could be pretty sick, right? When you're looking at the claimed territory, yeah, you're just ramping that one forest on the board, but I think that's just so significant that you're getting that other forest into your hand too, ready to play when you actually drop one of your landfall creatures as well, which is actually, there's like so much synergy with our landfall creatures, with our Herd Heirlooms as well, which is just, yeah, you don't have to play your extra mana to play a Hydra. If you ramped with the Heirloom, you can play Hydra first, then play your third mana for the turn, which ends up working out really nicely with cards like Fabled Passage. If this is your third mana, you're not too worried about it coming out tapped. If you ramped with the Herd Migration into a Hydra, then your third is Fabled Passage, then you can boost the Hydra a couple times, right? Which is actually really cool, man. Yeah, the synergies are crazy. Man, I'm really hyping up the deck, but definitely put it on the do not craft list because, yeah, more testing required. I'm pretty sure it's super janky, just not deserving of 100% loss rate janky, right? That's what I'm getting at there. Warden of the Grove, more testing required on this card too. I actually have another deck list ready with Warden of the Grove. It's Selesnya counters, and Warden of the Grove is one of the top end in that one. I don't know. It definitely has a presence on the board. It definitely has a target on its back. And I think all of that matters. And I think when you actually do end up start dropping a whole bunch of creatures, and each one of them are enduring X, I think one of the main, let me do some rearranging here. I think one of the main changes that I would make based on what we saw today is adding that Snakeskin Veil, but I have no idea what we would drop at that point. It's really tough. I would have loved to see Shivan Devastator do something today too. We didn't even draw this, did we? Huh. I mean, it is only a 2 of. We don't have all 4 of them packed in, so. Yeah, we have a tiny little dragon theme going on here too. The commercial district definitely held up some turns, right? But I don't think, I think we still want the Surveil land, but this could be traded out for some fast land instead, and you'd probably be pretty satisfied with that. Maybe the Verge, but the Verge initially taps for red. But with Fabled Passage and 14 basics packed in too. Also, we didn't need as many basics in the deck list as I thought. We could easily drop a couple mountains and go up a couple Verges, but also the mana base didn't really hold us up except for in the first game not seeing enough mana. But I mean, like the colors of the mana base didn't really hold us up. So we could consider a couple Verge, dropping a couple mountains. 12 basics is still probably enough. You're grabbing the basics out with Dragonstorm. You're only grabbing forests out with the Bloomvine Regent Omen side here, claim territory. You're grabbing basics out with Bushwhack, and you're grabbing basics with Fabled Passage too. And there's always that chance that you're going to be doing more Fabled Passage if you bring it back from the grave with something like Worldsoul's Rage. But if you're that far into the game and you already utilized 12 of your basic lands, I don't think you need any more basics at that point. So yeah, I could see dropping a couple mountains, going up a couple of the Gruul Verge. Oh, buddy, so much to say about this, man. So much to say. Still, Mossborn Hydra not having haste still gives plenty of reason for a couple bitter reunions. We have this lovely split in the deck list where we have a whole bunch of cards packed in, but they all work relatively well together. There's a couple other problems too when you're looking at the curve, right? Worldsoul's Rage, it's not a 2-drop by any means. You actually are looking at Worldsoul's Rage as a top-end card, where X's 4 is actually pretty decent. So if we look at it like as a 6-mana card, then you can see the curve definitely changes, and Heirloom doesn't ramp you into the Worldsoul's Rage, so it might be a completely unnecessary card in here. Maybe even dropping it down to 1, and maybe that third Torch the Tower, based on how much mice I'm seeing right now, that would not be a terrible thing. It is really easy for the mice to get above the 2 damage, though. We saw today the treasure come in handy to actually bargain the Torch the Tower. There's going to be moments where Bitter Reunion is the sacrifice, or Herd Heirloom, which will make you cry, but it's not going to be unheard of that the bargain is necessary and you pop the Herd Heirloom. Like, that's an artifact that works with bargain, of course, and Encroaching Dragonstorm is another enchantment that potentially works with the bargain on the Torch the Tower too. So I could see 1 Worldsoul's Rage and going up a Torch the Tower as well. All right, guys. Wow. Yeah. I'm dazed and confused, man. I really think this could have done the thing. We got to revisit this, and I'm thinking when we revisit it, instead of just going full revisit, you know, with a couple cards changed, I think maybe we'll try mono green Hydras and see if that does the thing. Now, the problem with mono green Hydras is you are completely getting rid of that chance of haste on the Bitter Reunion, which could be very important for the Mossborn Hydra, right? Because you get the Hydra so big and boosted, and then all of a sudden the opponent pops it with some simple spot removal. At that point, when we visit it, I'm thinking like all 4 Snakeskin Veils. All 4 Snakeskin Veils. Make the Hydra survive the turn no matter what. Hopefully, right? Yeah, I think that'll be a fun revisit. Not next week, not the week after, but we'll wait a little bit to revisit Hydras, but I'm probably going to put it together right after this, so. All right, guys, enough rambling, huh? If you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. Yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and yeah, just thanks for being here. For real. I will see you in the next video.